We just finished the Stage 2 kit where we put in a 585 cam. We produced 87 horsepower and 89 foot-pounds of torque. And that's a 35% increase over what we started with on this Road Glide. So very substantial. What we're going to do next is the Stage 3 big bore kit where we put on a 3927 big bore. And on this bike that produces 106 cubic inch displacement. If you had a twin cam 88 stock, you would put on this big bore kit. It'd be the same kit but for a different stroke. It has a different piston. That would generate a 97 cubic inch motor. So we're going to go and proceed with the teardown on this and show you what's all involved in getting the job done. First thing we're going to do is pull the seat off. Just need a Phillips screwdriver here to take this fastener off. And this particular seat's got a seat post backrest. Just pull it out. Next we got to get the fuel tank off. The front of the tank has little covers here that we just got to pop off. Decorative cover. And that covers a 9/16 or T50 Torx fastener. So you got one of them on each side. And then you got the two fasteners here in the back that are also 9/16 or T40s. They're kind of a dual driver head, if you will. Take the center bolt out of here for the dash so that I can get to this bolt over here. Pull these front bolts that were underneath those covers. And the other side. Kind of lift up on the tank so that the fastener spins easy. And the tank is essentially loose, but before we take it off we have to deal with all these wires and vents and hoses and stuff. So we're going to pull the dash off. To do that you got to open up the cap for the fuel and pull the fuel cap off. There's a 5/32 Allen right up here in the very front that we'll take out. And we'll lift the dash off. There's two little bendy tabs under here that hold the, just bend them out of the way a little bit and slide all the wires out and the hoses. And then you can pull this hose off right here. There you go. Now that we got the dash off, we got to take the connector off the fuel pump. And just squeeze the tab and slide it off. And set that out of the way. And now you've got your purge line here, or vent. And that's it for the top of the tank. Now what we have to do is come around to the other side of the bike and disconnect the fuel line. Okay, here's the quick disconnect. You just push up on the chrome part and the hose will pop right out of there. And there's a valve that shuts off here, and as well one in the tank, so you lose a little bit of fuel here, but for the most part you just pop that off of there, and now we're free to lift the tank off. Lift the tank off, the cap back on the tank until we need it. Next thing I'm going to do before I go any further is disconnect the battery, the ground, take the ground off. It's just a Phillips screwdriver or a 10mm to get this off. As long as we got the ground off, we can move on to disassembling the engine. Pull the plug wires. Got my 9/16 for the horn bracket. Okay, once we got those two bolts out, now we have to deal with the wiring for the horn, and it's just another metal tab here that you can bend out of the way and remove the wire, and then just slide these two terminals off. Doesn't matter which one goes where, so you don't have to keep track of them. But it gets to be pretty obvious when you go to put it together. So while we're here with this harness, we're going to pull off the engine temp sensor connector. And on the bottom side here, there's just a tab that you lift and slide off. So you just lift on this tab here, and it slides right off. I'm going to disconnect the injectors. You just squeeze these two tabs on each side. I'll pull it off here and I'll show you. So you have a connector here that basically we squeeze the outside and then it releases the connector and you slide it right off. Do both of them, and then we can, I guess, remove the front motor mount. That's a T50 Torx. And hold the mount when you get towards the end so it don't fall. Get your bolt out and slide it through. Okay, the next step is to remove the throttle body. In order to do that, there's 4 bolts to 2 flanges that hold it to each head. To get easier access, it's best to take off the engine temp sensor, and you just need a 3/4 inch socket. And slide it over, and then you can get your ratchet in here. And then you just want to break it loose and then get your ratchet back out of the way, because as it threads back, your ratchet's going to interfere with the head. So just break it loose, and generally they thread right out of there. If yours don't thread out, then you can generally get like an extension in here and miss everything. So this one's coming out nice. The bolts that are behind that, these 2 intake bolts, a regular Allen wrench will stick out too far and drag, and of course it'll hit your fins here. So we have like a modified wrench, or you could just take a regular L wrench and then cut it off shorter. And there's of course a variety of special tools on the market that a guy can get in here with. So I just get my 1/4 inch Allen in there and break them loose. Now you don't have to take these out all the way because the flanges are slotted. So you just have to break them loose and get a gap underneath the head of the fastener so that the flanges will slide out. And the other one. And now we need to go to the other side of the bike, and we have a special ball Allen, 1/4 inch Allen wrench that we could get in there from a long ways away. And if you come in with a straight socket, it just won't fit. So this is a great tool for the job. On the other side, pull these Allens loose. And then we have a retaining clip here on the map sensor that you basically take a screwdriver or pointy object and get underneath this yellow tab here and kind of push it out, and then that allows you to get the connector loose here. There we go. Okay, you got a tab there that basically you can squeeze and slide off. And also the throttle by wire servo motor. Pull this connector just to squeeze and slide. The connector tab is on the back side. Slide that off. And now that we got all the bolts loose, and it just slides out, and there's a little plastic retainer for the wiring harness on the servo motor wiring. It's right here on the bottom. I'm going to get these fasteners out of here so they aren't falling. Slide this flange off. And if we turn it over, we see it right here. And there again, we can pop that, work that out of there with a screwdriver. Just like so. And there's your throttle body, and you can see the slots in here for the bolts that were on the other side.